Okay, welcome back to part 3. At this point, we're on to the pink horror stripes coat. So you can see, we should hopefully be able to see the difference between the guy on the right and the guy on the left. The guy on the right is obviously a lot more defined, and he's had his coat of pink horror already added on there. So what you're doing with this basically is get your brush loaded as before. Oh, don't paint on this thing. I'm going to have to repaint that. Brilliant. And then the stripes you're picking out before, see if you can go over them. And as I say, you're almost covering them all. Not quite covering them all. You want to leave at least the tips being done. At least the middles being shown, so you can see the difference between the two types of muscle. And then it's literally probably one of the most boring painstaking processes you'll do. So at this point I recommend downloading a podcast. I think Table Podcast would be very good for that. But it is just going over those stripes, picking them out, and you're literally going to cover the whole model as best you can. You need to make sure you don't smudge. If you do smudge, then you're going to have to go back over it with the Rhinoxide and all start again. If you go over the brown bits, if you go over the stripes, it's not too bad because you can just highlight it up with the next highlight colour to cover any mistakes. And then once you've done all this, again you can see the difference between the left side not done and the right side which has been done. Obviously you'll end up with this guy. The only other point I did want to make is the fingers, and I almost, to be honest, just dry brush around the knuckles, and I just keep dry brushing a bit, and all I do is just dry brush it a little bit less each time, and what that means is it builds up a nice fleshy colour on your hands as you go along. So I'll finish this guy off. When we come back, we'll be finishing off the stripes, and then we'll be moving on to basically finishing off the trousers, and then it'll be pretty much done. Hi, and welcome back again to this Table Podcast hobby video, painting video, whatever you want to call it, about how I've been painting my Attack on Titan Ogres. So up to part 4, we're nearly at the final highlight now. So this one is a mixture of pink horror and Cadian flesh tone. I know I said it was 50-50 before. I'd probably correct myself and say it's probably 75 flesh tone with a little 10-20% of pink horror. Again, it is not watered down, and I'm not sure if it's picking up properly on the video, but this guy has had the next highlight applied. This one hasn't, so this is who I'm going to be working on next. Once this is done, it's pretty much a 99.9% Cadian flesh tone with a tiny little bit of pink horror, and it will almost be little dots just to pick out the very, very tops of particular muscles. So with this one, this is the colour I've mixed. As you can see, it is very pink, even though there's only a quarter pink in there. And again, it looks very thick. It is very thick. I make no bones about it. I'm not watering it down. And this one now, we are getting just the tips. I'm making sure I don't go all the way to the end. I don't go outside the lines, and I'm just helping define the muscles. Am I doing this perfect? No, I'm not, but then I'm not a golden demon winner at all. I'm just showing how I get my scheme done, because I've had quite a few people ask for hints and tips around it. So this is exactly what I'm doing now. So I'm just getting the mixture, make sure I've got a good section on it. As you can see, I'm not going all the way to the bottom. It is leaving the previous colours and coats visible. The reason for this obviously is just to give it that 3D effect. That's probably too thick on that one. My bad. Should get a few of you done. Doobie-doobie-doo. As I say, it's not actually that difficult a paint scheme to do. However, it's not an exciting paint scheme, is what I'll say. You will spend 90% of your time just looking at, different shades of pink, and just deciding, have I actually highlighted that particular stripe? And it can take a while and play tricks with your eyes, trying to work out what you have done and what you haven't done. So as you can see, I'm just picking out stripes so they become more and more defined, and eventually will look like this guy. So we'll come back on the final highlight, and obviously I won't go through step by step for the trousers, but there's one more to go, and I'll be back shortly. And welcome back. I've finished the final highlight now, so you can probably see the difference. This one, as I say, is about 75 Cadian with about 25% pink horror. This one's pretty much 99 Cadian with like a tiny bit of pink horror. You can see there's a slight difference in colour. And it's literally going on the tips, so the fingers, the tips of the muscles, and just trying to add that extra definition. I can't even say the word. So you actually get the nice effect. So this is the muscle done. So the rest of the model basically will be changing obviously the colours to the brown, green and blue with white, just to give it a bit more. Updating the silver, making sure the eyes are green so they all match. But really that's it. So I know people have asked me, obviously I do touch up, you can see the difference in blood, colours, the oxide paint, etc. on these. So I do obviously upgrade it as I go along. Obviously this base has got a bit of tufts on. But that's literally it to the skin. So the colours again, just to remind everyone, is Rhinox Hide. The next one is Screamer Pink. After that we go on to Wazdaka Red. We then go on to Pink Horror, and finally Cadian Flesh Tone. So they are all GW paints. They are easy to get hold of, and as you'll probably see, the effect is pretty good. I really like it. It's just something different, something that you don't see every day. Obviously there are other things like the mouth here. You can see when I just get the focus on that. You can see how you just paint like black stripes and add white dots if you want teeth to go through. But other than that, now it's just touching up the trousers, touching up the armour, and these ogres will be ready to go. Oh, get yourself back in focus. So thank you for watching. If you do have any comments or questions, then feel free obviously to leave a comment or hit us up on Twitter @TablePodcast. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll keep sharing on the blog as I finish the rest of my ogres off. Cheers, thanks, bye.